Thank you so much for a very wonderful and warm welcome to Jackson College of Education. We are very proud of what you do here. You've accomplished so much since 2009, and you continue to create opportunities for so many students to realize their dream of becoming a teacher. Not everyone is cut out to teach, and if you are that type of person, you also look for an environment where your talents will be nurtured so that you become a great teacher. I'm reminded that I'm in Ghana. I have to be careful. I have to go to the protocols and make sure that everybody feels welcome. Let me begin by recognizing the presence of the representative of the Vice Chancellor of University of Education, Winneba, and also the guest speaker, Mrs. Patricia Obo-Nai, who happens to be the CEO of Vodacom. A special guest of honor, Oheneba Yao Sapon Srebo Achempenhene of Jabin. Also, my own brother, Nana, Dr. Apeje Dankaoso, a great individual who is leading the charge for industrial transformation. And I shouldn't forget the leader of this great institution, the woman who has done so much for education in this country, Mrs. Jackson, and of course, Professor Jackson. And their work in the field of education is commendable. So, graduates, we are here today to celebrate you and to let you know that we are very proud of the work that you have done. But before we come to you, let me speak briefly about Jackson Education Complex and the work that they have done. The inroads that they've made in the field of education as a private institution, the number of students that they have graduated over the years, and if you look at a record number of 2,600 plus who are graduating today, then this institution has to be commended for the work that they are doing. If you look at the number of students, the percentage of students who graduate and pass the NTC is another feather in their cap. So Jackson Education College, the founders and the leaders of this great institution, I, as the Minister for Education, is full of commendation for what you do. And I hope you continue to lead this enterprise and really create those individuals whose work will benefit this country for many, many years to come. I also want to say that if we look at the willingness of your graduates to accept postings to the remotest areas of this country, you have done so much in terms of ensuring that there's equity in the field of education and that children from rural communities are also being served by teachers that have been prepared so well by your great institution. All around the world, we know that education is what transforms fortunes. Any country that have seen transformation in the 21st century saw it because education was prioritized. And Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has made education a centerpiece of his agenda. He recently spoke at the UNESCO in France and talked about how education has to be prioritized if we are going to truly transform the fortunes of our nation. Countries around the world have done it and they've succeeded. And Ghana has embarked on a major transformation agenda in education with free senior high school, transformation of various institutions, even going to the extent of saying that if you want to teach in Ghana, you have to have a bachelor's degree. That is a great, bold initiative by a developing country. And consequently, the fruits of this labor of the president and the country will come to fruition in the next few years. In about 10 years from now, you're going to see the country emerging out of poverty, putting poverty at bay so that we can begin to see that Ghana is one of the nations that are transforming itself, transforming its economy, and transforming its socioeconomic structures. So today, I'm very happy to be here and to have the opportunity to celebrate this great moment with Jackson College, and also to celebrate this great moment with the graduates and your families, those who supported you, those who gave you the support when things were challenging. We want to also congratulate them. But let me move on to say that what you have acquired, the skill set that you have acquired here is going to serve you well. When you enter into the classroom, initially there will be challenges, but understand that within the midst of those challenges, those who persevere will succeed. And you are going to succeed beyond your wildest imaginations. As a teacher, I will always continue to be a teacher. I taught in Ghana for a year, and then when I went to America, I got the wonderful opportunity of teaching. And that is why I began to see the benefits. The real benefits is when you excite your children and you get them so much into what you are teaching. And when that moment comes, when the students are giving you feedback that you have really impacted them, that is when you are truly going to see that teaching is a rewarding job. I remember there was a time I was teaching SAT prep, like a test prep course during vacation. I walked into my class and students came to me, 3 of them, and gave me a question to solve for them. I had never seen that question before. I looked at it, I went through it. As a mathematics teacher, I was super excited. I went through the steps, step 1, step 2, and they were watching intently. What I didn't know was that they have tried and tried different ways to solve the problem, and they couldn't. So as I proceeded to solve the problem, showing them the different steps, all the way to where I found the solution to the problem, they started clapping. And I will never forget that moment. I'll never forget the moment when the students started clapping for me. And I turned around and said, why? They said, we've been struggling with this question for days, and you have solved it for us, and it's so easy. So we wanted to let you know that we truly appreciate you. At the end of 1 year, when a group of students that I have taught for a number of 3 years actually, were moving on to another teacher. And then after a ceremony for them, they came, surrounded me, handed me a card on which they had written that we are gonna miss you. They were using Ghana to say gonna miss you. And I'll never forget that moment when they surrounded me and said, you have been working with us, you've always been commending us. Today we are here to commend you. And handed me the card, and I still have the card where they say we are gonna miss you. And I truly miss them. So we have embarked on an agenda to be in a noble, very noble profession. Your journey may not end the way mine has ended, but your journey will still end in a place where you'll be very happy that you have truly joined a very noble profession. So begin to understand that your perseverance will in the long run pay off. I want to share a story with you. And that story is about students who sometimes you may think do not like you. And in the end, they will come around and tell you, we truly appreciate you. Taught a class, a challenging environment in South Los Angeles. There was a group of young women, 3 of them, who were very tough to handle. After I finished the time with them, the semester with them actually, when all the students were gone, they came to me and said, we thank you for putting up with us. We came from homes where things were very difficult. And we wanted to fit in with the rest of the class. In fact, we live in a group home. In America, a group home is a place where you have children who may not have parents. And they have adults who supervise them. They may not even know their parents. So these children live in that environment. And when they mingle with the rest of the students, they wanted the students not to know where they were coming from, and they wanted to show that they were tough so that they would fit in with the rest of the students. And they ended up doing worse things than the rest of the students. But when I was able to finish the semester with them, they came to me and said, thank you for putting up with us. We know we have given you a tough time, but you never gave up on us, and we truly appreciate you. So you may not have the opportunity for the children to tell you this story, but buried within them for the rest of their life is to be an appreciation that they will have for you, for how well you treated them, for putting up with them, as those children told me. And I tell you, teaching is the noblest of all professions. I want you to know that the President of the Republic is super determined that he will change the fortunes of this country through education. So we've joined this profession at the right time where all emphasis is being placed on how well we can transform our education system. I want you to know and understand that you're going to step in classrooms in remotest areas of this country. When you go there, the greatest hope of the children and the family is you. The fact that you are there and you are there is going to give them some hope. Do not disappoint them. Do whatever you can to sell hope to them, for them to know that through you, one day, their fortunes will be different. And that you are going there in their minds, and when they dream, it's a dream come true. They are going to look at you and say, there's hope for our children. That will be what the parents will say. The children will look up to you and know that there's hope for them, because if you're able to make it, they too can make it. So it may be challenging, it may be difficult, but at the end you overcome and you may move on to other locations in the city or wherever you want to be. But enjoy yourself every day, even in the midst of great challenges. We know that you have been prepared very well, and that is why the ministry is always happy when we're able to give you the opportunity to be recruited into our classrooms. Jackson has trained you well, and we want you to know that whenever we get the opportunity, we offer you the opportunity to also become part of the teaching workforce of this country. We are moving into a different space. I know you are being awarded diploma, and I encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity Jackson is going to be offering you, so that you can upgrade yourself and get your bachelor's degree and move on to a higher rank, so that you'll be able to enjoy a little bit more in terms of compensation when you're able to move up. Like the rest of your peers who are now going to be graduating behind you. You don't want them to get ahead of you and earn higher salaries than you and be promoted faster than you. So we really want to encourage you to upgrade yourself. Some of you may also be very fortunate if after your national service you are recruited and posted into distant communities or areas, because there's a new initiative, a new policy by the Ghana Education Service to give you the opportunity to really to do, what do you call it, study leave at a faster pace than those who went to the cities. So there are great opportunities for you also in that area. Now, in terms of what education holds for this nation, I think for those of you in this profession, it's very clear to you. We have begun an adventure to really improve upon what we do every day. Accountability is critical. That is why you're going to hear of inspectors coming to your schools. You're going to hear of licensure. It's not to punish you. It's to make you a better professional. This is what is done in other jurisdictions, in other places around the world. That schools are inspected, teachers get licensed to begin their teaching adventure. There are many things that are happening in our education space, and it's all aimed at ensuring that we can have a better workforce and then a better education system, and also, of course, to transform the fortunes of this country through education. I'm sure you may have heard of the 4 C's. When you enter into the classroom and involve the students in the teaching and learning process, you are encouraging collaboration, you are encouraging creativity, you are encouraging critical thinking, and of course effective communication. When all these forces are present, then what it means is that you are truly changing the lives of these students who have been entrusted to your care. As I recently said at the United Nations, we cannot memorize our way out of poverty. It means we need to create a creative and critical thinking Ghanaians. Ghanaians who will look at age-old problems with a new set of eyes and begin to bring about innovation that can truly help change our nation. An innovation that will begin to get the country to understand that we should not be sitting in this space complaining, but we'll be sitting in a space where we'll look at the challenges we face as a nation and begin to tell ourselves we can do it. If South Korea has done it, if Vietnam is doing it, we can also do it. And that is the kind of optimism I want you to have. I believe that the best days of this nation is ahead of us and not behind us. The future of this country has never been brighter, even in the midst of a post-COVID-19 challenges. What you have to know is that great investment is being made in this country's education system. As I speak with you, there are 8 universities under construction in this country. It's rare to have all these things being done in a single year. Within the next year and a half, we're going to open a number of technical colleges and universities because the government is determined to transform education, knowing that education is what makes a difference in anybody's lives. I want you to begin to understand what is called the hero's journey. When you as an individual begin your life teaching, doing any other kind of thing, and you begin to have big dreams that one day I may become a headmaster, a principal of a school, or I want to start even my own school. Those of you in early childhood education, you know the opportunities for you to even start your own school. So maybe you want to build a school and you say to yourself, I want to do this school, and then you begin to think about, oh no, this is not possible. You deny. You had even denied yourself such a great dream because you are limiting your capability and you are talking to yourself, it's not possible. I can't do this. But one day you meet a mentor who encourages you, and before you know, you are embarking on a great agenda. Yes, challenges will come, but you overcome one day. So when you study about what Joseph Campbell talked about, the hero's journey, talked about an ordinary life, a call to adventure, denial that you can't do it. Then one day you meet a mentor, step 4. And then you begin to take a look at what you thought you could not do, and then you have confidence that you can do it. Challenges come, you meet allies, and then you meet enemies. You overcome it all, and your dream comes true, you become a hero. Then one day, challenges, huge challenges may be encountered. You may think it's over for you. Then you go through what is called resurrection. And the last step is when we say you return with an elixir, which means you have immunity. And thereby you become a hero. And people begin to worship you and say, hey, this is a genius, it's a hero. But sometimes what they don't realize is that you put in the time, you work so hard. So there's another concept that is also something I want you to know. It's called the 10,000-hour rule. All those people that we think are geniuses and have done great things and we celebrate them, did it because they put in 10,000 hours. The research is out there. The moment you put 10,000 hours into something and you practice it so well, before you know, the whole world is celebrating you. But they are celebrating you thinking you just woke up and it happened. No, you put in the time. So I understand. You're going to have to put in the time. You're going to have to do the time. You're going to really begin to look at yourself and say, I'm reading, I'm researching, I'm practicing, I'm looking at my lesson plans, and when people are not doing quality lesson plans, I'm critical on myself and I'm doing quality lesson plans. Whether you are using the New Bloom's taxonomy for your lesson plans or you're using the word depth of knowledge for your lesson planning, your focus is that you're going to lift your children up to a point where they will become critical thinkers and creative individuals. You know, the highest level of learning is no longer about evaluation and synthesis when you are planning your lesson. It's about creation. Whether you are looking at the web there or the new Bloom taxonomy, now the Bloom taxonomy has another higher level, which is called creation. So if you were to do a lesson plan on pollution, you know, if you say what is pollution, cause of pollution at the lowest level, understanding, comprehension, that is not where you want your children to be. Where you want your children to be is even beyond evaluating environmental programs and systems. Where you want them to be is when you give them an assignment and say, create a city without pollution. They have to work together, collaboration is taking place. They have to be creative and critical thinkers. 3 of your 4 C's is gone, and now the 4th of your C's is when these children begin to look at how they can communicate effectively. Within that context of creation, you have really created individuals who step out of their classrooms, go to high schools, go to the universities, enter into the field of work, and they have creative ideas for their bosses and for their companies to increase productivity, become more profitable, and change the fortunes of our nation. And this cannot be realized when you want the children to just write down your notes and write back whatever you gave to them during the classes at the time of exams. It's called rote memorization, and this will not benefit this great country of ours. We have to begin to look at how do we create the next generation of Ghanaians who are creative and critical thinkers and who can change the fortunes of this country. In a space that they enter, they are assertive and confident, and they are not timid. But there's no way you'll be able to do that unless you create an opportunity for the children to express themselves in front of you. Let them feel comfortable. Let them understand that you are there to help them and you are not there to hurt them. Put away the cane. Use your mouth to excite the children. Let them get so excited that they are coming to your class. Stand at the front of your classroom and welcome the children in. Let them know that that is a safe space, a place where their future lies, a place where hope is possible, hopefulness blossoms, and a place where there's no despair. Begin to let them understand that there can be a Ghanaian dream the same way that there's an American dream. That no longer should we look at our situations and look at ourselves and think it's always about a Ghanaian nightmare, the African nightmare. Nothing will be good for us. Invariably, that is how our mindset has been conditioned. Everything that we are doing, it will not end well. And invariably, this is how our minds work. So I call it lament and lambast, where we lament about all the problems in the country. And then once we finish lamenting about all the challenges in the country, we lambast the politicians. There was this guy who the media, I don't know which station was using it on the TV, said the politicians have taken our destinies, they've locked it up and thrown away the key. So if your mindset is that your future is locked up in some lockbox and the key has been taken by the politicians and they've thrown it away, you're going to sit in your room and do what Americans call pity party. They call it a pity party. That means you are so pitiful. And you talk about all the challenges. And because you are talking about all the challenges, you are not looking at opportunities for yourself. Pass in front of a private school, for example, and you may never step in there and ask the proprietor, are you hiring? I graduated from Jackson and I have some skill set that I can offer you. I may be one of your best teachers if you give me the opportunity. Pass in front of a public school, go to the headmaster, if there are vacancies here, and you can help me. And when I come to this school, I'm going to really contribute to the upliftment of your school. That's self-confidence. Before you know, that headmaster or head teacher is talking to the district director, this young woman who came here, the way she spoke, I think if you have opportunity to recruit him. He'll be one of the best teachers we've ever known. You enter that school and they say they have a vacancy. Your house is not too far from there. You tell the headmaster, I'm sitting home. I'm bored. I was trained to teach. Teaching is in my blood. I would love to teach here. Can I come and volunteer? You step into that classroom, you volunteer, and before you know, that headmaster is saying, I need this young woman so bad. That headmaster may be the one who would write even to the Minister for Education and say, Minister, can you please help me? This young woman has been volunteering for me and I feel bad that she doesn't have a job. Can you help me? And I'll tell you, great things happen when you have that personality and attitude. But when you think everything is so bad, you are not even going to look at it because you see the politicians have locked your destiny up and thrown the key away. So once you know the key has been thrown away, why would you go and ask? The key is thrown away and you don't know how to unlock the lockbox so that your destiny will come out. So that's why I always encourage people, don't be pessimistic about this great nation of ours. Within the last 4 years, we hired over 100,000 new teachers in this country. But if you think things are so difficult, you are not even looking up to the opportunity. Last year, when we got the opportunity of recruiting graduates from Jackson, I felt so bad when over 100 people did not respond to come and get their letters of appointment because they've given up on themselves. They have even thrown away the phone numbers that Jackson can use to call them because the politician has locked their destiny up. I felt so bad. These are people looking for jobs. And they called and returned appointment letters. So graduates, don't let this happen to you. Whatever telephone number that you are using whilst you are at Jackson, you better maintain it because one day they will be calling and they won't get hold of you. Don't give up on yourself in such a way that you are throwing even your phone away. They may call you and you have to respond and come and teach for Ghana. Jackson Education College chair of this great function. I'm so happy that I was able to make it and to speak with the graduates. I hope they have gotten a message from me that says we are with you. We are going to support you. If you have the desire to become successful, you will be successful. I believe that it really doesn't matter where you grew up, where you were born, and the circumstances of your family. If you believe that you'll be great, you're going to be great. But if you don't have that belief in yourself, that everything is possible, then things are going to be challenging. There's one thing I got from the United States of America, and that is the idea that everything is possible. But we get that messages from the pulpit all the time, only if you believe. But sometimes we hear it from the preacher and we still don't believe. Because we go to church, right? If we believe, we will not be pessimistic about the future of this country. You have to tell yourself that if one person is going to be the person to be hired from this Jackson class, it's going to be me. And once you have that belief in yourself, miracles are possible. Great things can happen. You enter into the classroom with enthusiasm. Be the best teacher the world has ever known. And I'll tell you one last story. And I'll bring I don't know if this is a sermon or encouragement or motivation, wherever you take it to be. I'll bring it to an end. When I began my teaching career, second year, I went to a big conference in Texas, Dallas, Texas. And there were breakout sections. And I went to the workshop for the leaders of schools across the country. In America, we call them superintendent. These are superintendent of school districts. I walked into their workshop and sat there and I listened to all the presentation. And there's a woman who happened to be the former superintendent of Oakland Unified School District in California. After the workshop, the woman asked me, "Young man, why are you in the workshop for superintendents? What are you doing here?" Do you want to be a superintendent one day? And I said, yes, ma'am, I want to be a superintendent one day. He said, don't think about becoming a superintendent. And I said, why? He said, don't focus on becoming a superintendent. Think about being the best teacher the world has ever known. And you become a superintendent without thinking about it. Distinguish yourself in your school. If you are the best teacher there, your head of school will recognize you. He will give you opportunities. You will move up so fast, and one day you will be a superintendent. So your focus should not be becoming a superintendent. And I said, thank you, ma'am. Went back to my school. I changed the way I was dressing to school. Put on my tie and nice jacket. I was dressing better than any teacher in the school. One day I walked into the cafeteria, and this African-American woman who was there saw me and said, yes, this is how teachers are supposed to dress. He truly embarrassed me. Because in America, people can wear their Lacoste and all those things, and they go to school. They don't put on tie to teach. I changed the way I taught my classes. I used to take the children outside as a mathematics teacher. I wanted them to experience mathematics in a real practical way. There was a place that had a circle where students used to congregate. We had a perfect circle, a grass, and there was a perfect circle. And that is why I taught my circles. Whenever I was teaching circles, I'll take the students there. I'll ask them to walk the diameter, walk the radius, walk the circumference. They come back and they understand circles perfectly. So I decided I would be a different teacher based on the advice I got from this woman. And as they say, the rest is history. From there, I was able to move up and build charter schools in America, build schools and hire all these Americans to work for me. Something I never thought would happen, but I was willing and dedicated, wanted to be the best teacher. So don't look at other teachers' graduates. Don't look at the fact that some teachers are coming to school late and try to be like them. Distinguish yourself. Be the teacher that people will talk about. Become the best in your profession, and your promotion will be guaranteed. We always look for people who distinguish themselves to be promoted. Recently, on TV, I'm sure TV3, there was this young woman called Amoni, Ghana's most beautiful contest. She decided to champion STEM. Yesterday, I invited her to my office, and we are going to make an ambassador for STEM, for the Ministry of Education. She did not enter into the contest thinking that the Minister for Education was going to call her. She entered into the contest propagating STEM, something that she believed in. But the hard work that she did and the determination that she showed has now earned her something more than becoming the winner. I think she was the second runner-up or the third runner-up, but now she's going to be ambassador for STEM for the Ministry of Education. When you dedicate yourself to a cause, you'll be noticed. You'll be promoted without even thinking about the promotion. A day will come that somebody will recognize you and say, this is the finest of teachers that we know. Why can't she come to the headquarters? Or why can't she be elevated so that more teachers will become like her or become like him? I want you to know that your future is in your hands. Your promotion is in your hands. Your upgrading is in your hands. Much more than you may think. If you are determined and you do your work well, you are projecting Jackson in a positive light by also projecting yourself. And one day you're going to look back and say, the quality Jackson education I got has served me well. But you're also going to look back and say, my fierce determination to succeed has served me well. I did not give up on myself, and today, here am I. I'm a head of school. Today, here am I. I'm a coach for other teachers. I'm a mentor for other teachers. And the students that you train will one day move up and come and see you. Like I went to visit my primary 1 teacher a few weeks back. Let me tell you this. If you are determined to succeed, you already have all the ingredients available to you to succeed. Maintain a relationship with your school. If there's something you don't understand, reach out to your professors. And I'm sure this is an institution where they always support you so that you could succeed. The world is waiting for you after your national service. Some of you may probably be finishing the national service, you're about to do it. Wherever you find yourself, understand that your future will be bright if you believe in this great nation of ours and you do a forward march together with all of us and play your role in your own corner. Brighten that corner. Let the world know that there's a great teacher here. And within the midst of that, your greatness will appear and the world will celebrate you. Congratulations to all of you graduates.